It was really, quite honestly, last year that I had a very huge, pressing that I should surrender my business to God. I don't even know how to do that. Total surrender. It has been challenging. I feel lighter. Death and money make people crazy. A lot of strife ekes in because they got to get theirs.
Do I think it changed them or exposed them? It changes people. And siblings and family members, I hear it all the time. I never thought my brother or sister would act this way.
4 years ago, I was like, what the heck is going on? Pre-diabetic, vitamin D deficient, zero testosterone, leaky gut. I hurt myself as far as health-wise. Like I was too much into the grind. By day 11, I remember waking up and going into the bathroom and looking at Ed and crying because I was so freaking happy. I was like, I'm back. This is actually the easiest thing I've ever done. It feels so good.
All right. Welcome back to Extraordinary Conversations. My friend Kristen Judd. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Good. I want to just kick it off. Let's get into this because I know your behavior. You're like type A, so you don't want to have all the fluff. So who is Kristen Judd?
Who is Kristen Judd? Well, it's interesting because I was just redoing and thinking about redoing our brand and how we'd like to show up and serve our community. And yes, we do the financial education, and that's part of one of the ways that we serve. But I really want to spend time with certain individuals. And who do I want to attract? And those are people who love God, fear God, want to serve Him. That's people who are health conscious and interested in, living a healthy lifestyle. We've been married. That says a lot of sticking to things and sometimes doing hard things. We have kids, we have dogs. We like to have fun. We like to play. Summer's our favorite. It's my favorite. So play in the water, be in the sand, enjoy the outdoors, and really, I'm a big patriot too. So I love our country, and right. I'm all about that. So I'm actually having a really great time right now.
So where does this all come from? Is this how you were brought up? Was God a big part of your upbringing? Is it something that you found later on?
Yes and no. So we went to church, but it wasn't necessarily a huge priority. It was more out of convenience. Always grew up knowing God and going to Bible school and all that kind of stuff. But it was really, quite honestly, last year, in that September, October frame, that I had a very huge, pressing that I should surrender my business to God. And so I'm like, I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah. I mean, knowing you, I would think that that's pretty challenging.
Yes.
So how did you go about doing that?
I don't know. I feel like it's a daily thing of just giving it and just saying, okay, you've got it. And instead of being the one who's always in control and always trying to control outcome and to make things happen, there's still a piece that says you got to go out and do the things. You got to go find the people and have the conversations with them. But at the same time, just total surrender. And it has been challenging. No doubt.
Has it worked?
Yes, in some respects. I feel lighter. And I also, it's just a daily,
does it get you off the hook a little bit?
You could say that. And really anytime you're trying to create a new habit, it's it's trial and error, right? It's like, hey, some days I'm doing really good and some days I'm not. So I get to press restart and try and do better. And so we're perfect, imperfect human beings. And so just trying to shift a little bit more, but there is a big, huge pressing of like, hey, you need to surrender it to God. And I'm like,
Do you pray?
Yes. It, probably not in a traditional sense,
Okay.
right? Like when people think prayer has to be sometimes dedicated time, sure, can do that. Can be with the Bible, it can be, but even just in your car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people walk around with headphones on and talking to themselves or talking to someone else, but you could just be talking to yourself and nobody knows.
Yeah. And that's prayer, right? Yeah. Yeah. So what's your typical day like? What do you spend your time doing?
So, because I have been a type A individual for quite
you
some
recovering?
time. And, I would say I'm still in that space because I feel like discipline is one of my bigger strengths. But um, I I hurt myself as far as health wise. Like I was too much into the grind. And so one of the things that I adopted last year was to have dedicated time first thing in the morning. That includes workout, hydrotherapy, whether that's, some hot tub or steam, and then a cold plunge, and then Bible time and personal development. And so usually I don't start my day until about 10.
Well, how early do you get up? I mean, that takes a lot of time.
Yeah, about 6:30.
Okay.
So not horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just a different day, depending on whether I have networking that day or client appointments, conversations, helping agents, do work with them, strategizing, social media, whatever. Yeah. So every day is a little bit different. And
Do you
I
eat
kind of like that.
breakfast? Do you eat? I mean,
Oh, yes.
okay. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So
What does that look like?
Um, 6 eggs in the morning, and sometimes bacon, sometimes steak, sometimes whatever, but usually it's eggs, and I eat until I'm full, and then coffee for breakfast. And
6 eggs. That's an expensive breakfast.
nowadays,
It's like, it's cheaper than the steak. I mean,
nowadays I'm actually like, do we get chickens?
right. Yeah. Put them in your
It's like
backyard.
it's
Yeah.
chicken season, so you
Right.
can go to the Tractor Supply and get some, and then grow them up, and wait until they start pooping out some eggs. So
I don't
there
know
you
if
go.
I could do that though.
I know, but because
They're not white eggs.
huh?
They're like different colored eggs.
But they're supposed to be even more healthy than what you can get at the store, and they taste different.
Oh, I don't know
So,
about the
but
taste.
generally, I think birds are kind of dirty.
Yeah.
So I
Did
don't
you grow
know.
up with any animals?
I grew up with cattle.
Oh.
I think my dad had some pigs when I was really little. I don't remember them. We had a couple of sheep that were cute and stuff, but I don't remember what happened to them. But we always had cattle. My dad tried. He had a horse. He thought he wanted a horse one time, and he got hurt. He got bucked off. I remember seeing that. And that was pretty like he bruised up his leg really bad. So we're not like typical ranchers, but grew up raising beef, eating beef, loving beef. Yeah. So,
But this diet that you're talking about, because you're on the carnivore diet, right?
mhm.
This wasn't a diet that you've adopted for just really about a year, right?
I'm 6 months.
Oh, 6 months. Okay.
6 months into it. So, grew up eating beef, a little bit of potatoes, and usually like green beans or corn. My dad didn't like vegetables. And when I was growing up, I was never sick. I was rail thin. And then as you start having kids and you want to do better, then, I started like eating peppers and adding all this other stuff in. And then about 4 years ago, I was like, what the heck is going on? Because I am gaining weight. like crazy. There's something wrong. And it's not that I felt horrible. I just, there was something wrong.
You didn't like the way you looked, or is just the pants were a little bit tighter,
Yeah,
or
it was bad.
Okay.
It was like,
Okay.
I
It
was
was noticeable.
I was super fluffy. Um,
Okay.
fluffy for me, right?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
notice. And so I finally had some blood work done and I found out I was pre-diabetic. I was vitamin D deficient. I had zero testosterone. Um, my cholesterol was a little high. I had leaky gut. My thyroid wasn't working well. So I had like a lot of stuff going on. And so went on this like journey of trying to heal myself, but I was not going to use Western medicine because I don't trust doctors, right? Like literally, if I had gone to a doctor, they had been like, oh, let's put you on metformin and let's, give you some statins. And we know that statins are horrible for you. I mean, no. And, let's put you, maybe they would have done some hormones. I don't know. I don't think they're really into the hormone thing, but they probably would have put me on some kind of synthroid or something like that to help my thyroids and stuff. And so on this way of making me a lifetime client of the medical space, right?
So where did you educate yourself on that?
Like
all internet or YouTube or
a little bit of internet, but then, tapping in and working with different dietitians and nutritionists and helping me in that regard. So I did some liver cleanses. I did, changed up my diet. I got rid of gluten, got rid of soy, and just kind of like, it was one of those things where I felt like, oh, I'm stepping forward. And then I'd step backwards where, you think you'd get closer. And it was like this give and take. The only thing I did know is that, I was just I didn't feel good either way. Like I didn't feel bad, but I didn't feel better with whatever I was doing. And so then pretty soon everybody's like, oh, you should do the blood type diet. So I tried the blood type diet and I did that.
What's that?
Oh, so it's like based on whatever your blood type, there's specific like proteins and vegetables and everything that is supposed to be spectacular based on your blood, right? So I was A positive, or I still am.
Right.
A positive, and so it was really boring. Like I was bored.
I remember
food.
that a little bit where you're like,
so bored.
You ordered like you were eating like a bird. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I could eat fish, chicken, turkey as my proteins, and then all these different kinds of vegetables, right? Like, so I had to like be really, really mindful of everything that I was putting in my mouth. And I was bored. I didn't feel better. I didn't have more energy, nothing. And like Ed does most of the cooking in the house. And so he's like, hey, how do you want me? I was like, I don't care. Like,
give me a bowl of cucumbers.
Like, I don't, yeah. Like, I don't care. Like, clearly I'm not supposed to enjoy my food anymore.
Well, that's miserable.
It was really miserable. And so some friends had started this and they were having massive success with the carnivore diet. And they were like, you should just try it. And finally I was like, I've tried everything else. I mean, why not?
Sure.
And so amazingly enough, I started when we were going to travel. So I did it even at a hard time, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm going to start this because if I'm going to start it, let's just do it, right? And so we were going down to San Antonio to watch Brody. It was Labor Day weekend, and I'm like going to restaurants, and I'm like, I'll have meat with a side of meat.
So you can't have any carbs, right?
No carbs, because carbs turn into sugar. And so, and no vegetables.
Because why?
So what I found out is that the vegetables were actually causing the inflammation in my body. Oh. So one of the things I couldn't get rid of was inflammation. No matter what I did, the inflammation was there. And so what I found out as I continue to research all of this is like things like spinach and kale, they will pull nutrients out of your body and turn it into shards, specifically calcium, turn it into shards, and they'll just cut up the inside of your gut.
Oh.
So if you ever wanted an excuse not to eat spinach or kale, There you go.
But that's what everybody puts in their shakes and
I know.
their breakfast and everything.
I was doing it in my smoothie in the morning. I was doing it on any other space. If there was a salad, I had spinach. Like almonds will do that, or almond flour will do that. So there's a whole host of things that really just pull nutrients, and then and so I was like this little poofy little thing because I had inflammation, and so it was crazy. So I started that. I was eating meat, and just trying to hit a gram of protein for every pound that I wanted to be. So people will use this as a weight loss, but it's really great for diabetics because you don't have any sugar.
So if I want to weigh 200 pounds, I got to eat 200 grams of protein a day.
Yeah. And you're going to get full.
Yeah.
You're going to get so full. You'll get so satiated that you don't snack. And then the cravings go away,
Like the sweets?
The sweets.
Really?
Yeah, they'll go away. And so by day 4, my inflammation went away, like my stomach. By day 11, now this is why I love this. Yes, I was having like, oh my gosh, the inflammation. I don't have, I would normally feel it in my ankles, my knees, and my fingers first, right? Mm-hmm. And but by day 11, I remember waking up and going into the bathroom and looking at Ed and crying because I was so freaking happy.
Like you finally found something that worked.
Yeah, waking up with gratitude.
Oh.
And feeling like myself again. And
wow.
That's why I'm so like, oh my God, you should try it, because people will get off depression meds, they get off heart meds, they lose weight, they're getting off of, diabetic meds, they're getting off of all, like the list of things that people are healing in their life is amazing. But for me, I was like, I'm back.
Right.
I'm back.
Oh, I can imagine that feeling, because I can't wait to get there.
Yeah.
Because it's true, because I get up every morning at 2 a.m. because I lay in bed and I like wake up, like 2 a.m. hits. I'm wide awake. I get up, I go downstairs, I stare at the fireplace, or I stare outside, wait for me to get tired again. And then I go back to sleep from like 4 to 6.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. And then by 6, I'm like exhausted because I haven't had that good deep sleep.
You didn't get to REM. Right. You didn't get to any of that stuff, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I dabbled with the carnivore diet. I think I told you this, and I had success with it. Mm-hmm. But it's so
It
tough.
worked so well that you quit.
That's my story. If you ever, that should be in my bio, right? It worked so well, I quit. Yeah. I'm the master of getting to the 1 yard line and just walking away, but yeah, I dabbled in it. I didn't go full carnivore. I had some carbs, cause I didn't want to quit cold turkey, cause I've tried that before and that wasn't successful. But I think I lost weight. I felt like I lost weight. It could have been just inflammation.
A lot of our weight is inflammation.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So
what is inflammation? It's just swelling or bloating?
Yes.
What is it?
Yeah. So anytime, if you're watching your weight and you gain weight really quickly, that's inflammation. So your body is
it water weight? Is it water considered inflammation?
It's sometimes, but really it's just swelling. So heart disease, all that kind of stuff starts with inflammation. It's not cholesterol. It's not any of that causes heart disease. It's inflammation. And what causes inflammation is usually sugar and seed oils.
Seed oils, like what? What's a seed?
So he's got
inflammation is a complex biological response to tissue injury or infection, characterized by redness, swelling, pain, heat, and loss of function. So what's an example of seed oils?
They're horrible. There's so many of them.
Oh,
So
olive oil is a seed oil?
yeah, but that's still kind of under like a good, and avocado oil's good, but like seed oils are like your soybean oil, your vegetable oil, your canola oil, um, sunflower seed oil. Geez, there's a whole list of them that, and they're in everything. So like
Is it
it's
just help the process
no,
of
it was just, it used to be that they used all of this seed oil to oil machinery. Yeah. And then they started putting it in our food. And we wonder why we're sick.
right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of seed oils that are just nasty.
Oh.
Um,
So are you looking at all the labels now?
yeah. I read everything. Like I the other day, I don't know why, but I looked at gum and I was like, are you kidding me? There's
What's
seed
in
oil
there?
in gum.
Oh,
There's like soy lecithin, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Corn oil, cottonseed oil. Yep. Those.
rice, bran oil,
So,
soybean, yeah,
yep.
sunflower.
Rapeseed. Yep. Rapeseed. Does that sound even good? No.
What, a
I mean,
grapeseed oil? That's so tiny. How could it even have oil?
yeah. So peanut
Okay.
oil. Yeah. All of
Okay.
those are horrible.
So is it possible to find foods that don't have this stuff in it?
Mm-hmm. Beef.
So are you more of a beef person or a chicken person or fish person?
So when you look at the food pyramid, we've been lied to about that. It's upside down. And so if you flip it other way around, meat should be at the very, very bottom. It should be super foundational. So all of your red meats are have all of your nutrients that you need. So that's beef, that's lamb. I've never tried lamb.
Lamb, I can't do lamb.
I've never had it.
Yeah.
We looked at it the other day and I was like, should we try it? Do you want to try and cook it? Because you're going to be cooking it. So, you can YouTube anything.
Right.
And so like deer and elk, those are super nutrient dense. And then the next level would be the chicken, the turkey, the fish, those kinds of things to add in. They have most everything, but not everything.
Okay.
But still a great space, as far as getting some of those nutrients. And then the other big part is that you want to make sure, because you don't have carbs as your energy source,
right,
you're going to switch it and become fat. Your fat is now going to be
like the meat fat.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah,
chewing on the gristle, that stuff.
Yes.
Which is supposed to be like
everybody
bad cholesterol,
told you,
right?
Yeah, everybody tells you that it's so horrible for you, but that fat is actually helps you slim down. I increased my fat intake, healed my gut.
Wow.
Yeah, so this sounds weird, but I probably eat close to a stick of butter a day. And
what kind of butter is that? Like grass fed?
Yeah,
is
as good as you can. Yeah,
butter?
I mean,
canola oil and all that. Is that not butter?
No. That's
but it spreads so nicely on your toast.
I know, but that's only one molecule short of being like a plastic.
Oh. Okay.
When you're talking about margarine.
That will clog the arteries.
Well, and if you did a test, right? If you put butter out and you put margarine out, animals will not eat the margarine. So it's a good sign. Like whatever animals won't eat.
Right.
We probably shouldn't eat either.
Well, I always thought of that. A friend of mine said, if the worms won't eat it, why should I?
Yep.
They're like smarter than us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
so he's like,
you had the food pyramid. Oh yeah, it is at the bottom.
Yes. So like super nutrient dense. And so what's been happening since I've done this, and then I started being a part of a community called the Steak and Butter Gang. And cool. So I'm learning from all of these people that have been doing it for 8, 9, 10 more years, right? Like, and they're doctors and they're like telling, the whole list of everything that they've cured. Like this one guy who's teaching me about the fasting portion of it, but he's like, fasting, you can't just do fasting without feasting. So you have to learn how to feast and fully nourish your body, and then you can fast. And then it's all about really breaking the addiction to a food. Because, you know,
Right.
there's things that, I mean, there's a reason why the food industry went to the tobacco industry is like, hey, can you teach us how to make people addicted to food?
Right.
So
Wow.
so it's a little bit of a give and take, but I take it back to more of that primal space of when we would hunt, we would feast,
Hmm.
right? And then you might go a few days or whatever until the next kill is made. And so
Well,
your
that's a good
body,
analogy.
right?
Yeah.
And then the other part is too, you know, you think about, you know, your fruits and your vegetables and all that kind of stuff. We eat them all year long, but we should really only eat them when they're in season.
Oh. Well, how do we know they're in season?
Probably not in the winter. Just
But
my
it's nice
guess.
somewhere.
Probably not in the winter.
I just assume they're like, oh, it's from Florida or California or somewhere where it's always nice all the time.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we live in Colorado, so we should probably do it.
Okay.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
so, and then you just think about like blueberries. You would probably only eat them maybe 2 or 3 weeks out of the year,
Oh,
right? Because that's
Gotcha.
when they're ripe and they're,
sure. Yeah. Okay. I think one of the biggest issues or challenges I had with the carnivore diet was the seasoning part. Because it's like, you don't want just a stick of meat, like a slab of meat. And it's like, you don't want to throw some, is salt good?
oh my God, salt is so amazing.
Really?
Yes, it's so good for you. But you have to be careful. The only one that's not good for you or is obviously table salt, which is
Okay.
at most restaurants.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've learned to bring a little baggie of salt with me. But you think about salt, and most of us are probably mineral deficient.
Mm.
And salt has like all of these amazing minerals. But if it's been iodized or anything, they've stripped everything out.
Oh, wow.
Which,
Okay. So iodized salt.
iodized
Yes,
salt
table
is
salt.
horrible.
Yeah.
It's
Huh.
horrible for us. So, so like Celtic salt.
So the little girl with the umbrella and the
Yeah, she gotta go bye-bye.
No, Morton there. Morton, iodized salt. Yeah. No more.
No
Bye.
more. Yeah. Well, because and that's been bleached. So
Oh.
so we're putting bleached seasoning,
Oh my gosh.
right? Same with sugar. Sugar's not normally white, so they've bleached it.
Well, this is depressing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Nobody likes hanging out with me because I'm like, hey. So yeah,
You know
that
that's
Baja,
bad for you?
that Baja Gold, I just got some of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That Redmond's,
Yeah.
that's really amazing because that's just from Utah. Celtic salt, we have some of that. And then I just have some really nice like
What's the ingredients in that Celtic salt?
salt.
Just salt?
Yeah, but it hasn't been messed with,
Well, that's okay.
you know? So it has like a ton of minerals and good stuff for you. So
Oh, yeah, there it is. Let's see. Does it show? Does it say salt? Yeah.
so
Okay.
you know, when you have a stroke or a heart attack, you know what they pump you full of? Saline. Because it has a whole bunch of salt in it.
Oh, yes. And you feel amazing.
And it helps, right?
Oh,
So,
man.
but then they tell everybody else that salt is bad for you. And so, actually, if you make sure you get enough salt in your diet, the right kind of salt, you can level out your high blood pressure. You can, you can fix all kinds of stuff. Salt's pretty awesome.
I think I have high blood pressure.
From your kids?
Yeah, they're really stressful. Yeah, they don't listen. But yeah, I need to add more salt.
Yeah.
I'm scared because it's like always been taught salt's bad.
I know. Because they lied to us about a lot of things.
So how do you eat out? Do you bring your own meat?
So it was really awesome. No.
Pull it out of your purse.
So I just tell people, It's so funny because I'm like, yeah, if we just go somewhere where I can get meat, I'm good. Like I just
So you don't really care what they cook with or asks what they cook with?
try. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
we'll sometimes ask that piece, but um, so we went to the Pepper Pod
Yeah.
with some friends and ordered this big 12-ounce like top sirloin wrapped in bacon, whatever. And it always comes with all these sides. And I was like, so I don't want any of those sides. I don't want potatoes. I don't want your vegetables. But what I would like is some extra bacon and a side of butter. And they were like, okay. And they totally brought me it. So,
Wow.
and like one of the best places that we went to was Isla Mujeres
Mm-hmm.
down by Cancun.
Yeah. The island.
Yeah. So we were drinking a little bit and driving around in our little golf cart.
Salt on the rim.
Yes. Made sure I got my salt there. But anyways, we stopped at this like hole in the wall place and we told them that, hey, we're carnivores. We just want this. And so they made us this really huge, massive ribeye with a side of shrimp and another side of meat. And I was like, rock
Heaven.
on. They got it.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
so it's one of the, it's a really nice test of just asking for what you want, because a lot of times we don't ask for what we want. So we never get it, but then we walk away depressed because we didn't get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's that piece of like, what's the worst thing that they're going to say? No.
Right. Then you modify and deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just like, just ask for what you want and see where it goes. And usually people are like, okay.
So after these big meals, do you feel like you need to take a nap?
No.
What happens?
My energy is so solid all day long. I never get the afternoon crash. Like there for a while when I was feasting before I was starting, they call it priming. So I was feasting. They wanted us to eat 3 meals a day. Make sure you're full. Don't drink while you're eating. You're feasting. And so my energy through the roof, like so good, like
wow,
so amazing.
I need that. Yeah.
And it's because my body is being fully nourished. I'm getting all the nutrients I need. I'm not missing anything, all of that. So it's
how's the focus? Is it
it's clear.
Clear?
It's clear.
You don't have that brain fog or how about your memory? Does that get improved?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Wow. I got to try it. I got to try it.
I mean,
what do I have to lose?
Right? Like, and that's where I was like, it's one of those things where, I was disciplined before and I've done hard things. And so this is actually the easiest thing I've ever done. The easiest thing. So for some people, so like, Ed was he was a carbaholic. I mean, let's just be honest.
Well, we had him on. He told us about his peanut butter and sourdough. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's a total carbaholic. And even before we started this carnivore piece, I told him, I was like, dude, you need to start adding protein. Like you need to eat more protein. I think most people do not eat enough protein. And that's why they get hungry. That's why, they're snacking. All this stuff is because they're not satiated and they're not eating enough protein.
Well, I always have a fear too. This is kind of gross, but like constipation, like with a lot of protein. So,
well, yes, it kind of is that way. But also, here's what happens as you even out. This is going to be way too much TMI. Because we know we're family, because now we're talking about bowel movements.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're there. Welcome.
Right. That's one of my things is that, your family is when you get to the part where you're like, we're super comfortable with each other because we'll talk about bowel movements.
Right.
Okay. Only family does that. Right.
So is it fiber?
No. So, okay. So your body does not absorb fiber. It doesn't even really know how to digest it. And so it's kind of like when you take too much vitamin C, you just flush it out. So that's all that's happening when you eat fiber, is that your body's like flushing it out, right? Like, so it's a waste because you're not absorbing it or whatever. So there is going to be a time in the very, first couple of weeks where if you've been having carbs, your body has to relearn and readjust to how it's getting its energy source. So there will be some days where you're probably going to feel like you have the flu. Like you're not
Oh,
going
like
to
a
feel great.
detox?
Yep, you're detoxing.
Oh no. Okay.
And you're getting rid of, because you've had sugar, you've had seed oils, you've had all this kind of stuff. And so your body's got to get rid of it. And sometimes you're going to pee out of your butt. Okay. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Be close to a bathroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah. And so, but you're flushing, you're cleaning it all out. But what has now happened, like everybody talks about the constipation. So because you're having protein and nutrient dense things, your body is using everything. So you don't have to go to the bathroom as often.
Oh.
And you don't fart anymore.
Sign me up.
Tiana's like, yep.
Yeah, double. Yeah. Well, that's the biggest thing is that if your family's not on board, it's very difficult. And I'm not saying that she's not. It's just when you're all eating 4 different things,
it's a pain in the butt. Yeah. Because Ed was doing that. He was like, here's meals for the boys. Here's me, and them. And then one separate for me doing the things and trying to, which was awesome because he was super supportive of whatever I was trying to accomplish and he understood. It is way easier when everybody's on the same page and all of that kind of stuff. But and it's hard because we've grown up with all of these different you need to do this and da 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 and all that kind of stuff. And it goes against everything we've ever been told our whole entire life. But then for me is because I feel so freaking good.
That's awesome. So how do you do things on the go? Like, because we always have those weak moments. You're like, you're late to an appointment or your appointments are late and you're like, you're running, it's at 8:00. You haven't eaten all day and you drive by that McDonald's.
So here's some cool hacks.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually go to fast food restaurants like McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever and tell them you just want the patties. And they'll sell them to you for like $1.50 each. And so then you're just like, you can add the cheese if you want or whatever. And you can just buy it like that. If you're strapped for like time and whatever. And then I'll usually, like when we're traveling, I'll get the really nice beef sticks from like Paleo Valley or something like that are really nice. And I'll just have those.
Is that like a Slim Jim?
Yep. Yep.
The old
like
wrestler, I forget his name.
There's meat chips that are out there. There's sometimes I'll bring bacon with me. I've been craving bacon. But
so bacon's just fat and meat? That's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Bacon.
And salt.
Yep.
That is a good snack.
Yeah. So when we just kind of have that around all the time, hard-boiled eggs, if you like those are great snacks. Okay. And so sometimes it's just like you just prepare and have stuff with you. And then, but that's one of the things that I've seen people, like those ribeye meat chips.
Ribeye meat chips.
Yep.
What is this?
Because you can't just do regular jerky because if you read the ingredients, they're like total crap.
Oh yeah, I used to eat those as a kid, and
they have like a soybean something and some kind of
tongue's
gluten.
all greasy. Yeah,
like it's
okay. Those are
not good.
That's
ingredients.
Not good. Okay.
Yeah, but like
just meat and salt. It says.
Yep.
Love it.
So those are great snacks to have, but that's a little hack if you wanted to go to a fast food. You just ask. I just want the patties, and chow.
Can you have the cheese?
Yeah. Cheese, dairy, all of that. It has some carbs in it, and so carbs will always turn into sugar. So you just kind of manage that piece of it. Some hard cheeses like Parmesan's better for you than some other cheeses, but I just keep the dairy piece to a minimum. because I'm still trying to
Mm. Trying to
slim
cut.
out. Yeah, slim out. And then, but um,
So, um,
you would just want real cheese, not like that fake stuff.
I know, but it's so good. Or at least I think it's good, you know?
Right?
Till I knew what was in it. But
Yeah.
so what do you recommend for people that want to get started? Do you recommend they just do cold turkey, just freaking go for it, or
Yeah.
not like,
Yeah. I
because
feel
the
like
longer
it's too,
you
yeah, I think it's just too hard, especially if you want to get to that space of like getting rid of the cravings. Right. And so it's really getting past the craving part of it of, okay, now I don't crave it anymore.
yeah, that'd be totally worth it.
Yeah. We have eaten our share of chicharrones.
Oh,
So
is that that's a carnivore snack?
it is.
Oh,
Yep. So,
isn't that carbs?
nope, it's pig fat.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I did not know that. All right.
Yep.
But you can't get the like seasoned kind or anything. It's got to
Yeah,
be
you
like
just you
bland.
would you well, so Ed put some seasoning on it last night, and I was like, "Ooh, this gives it a different flavor." So, and we've used that. Oh, Ed's gonna have to make them for you. We've so I don't like breaded chicken, like never have
Oh,
the whole time. I mean, my mom would make it every once in a while. I'm like, ugh, breaded chicken, well, chicken,
yeah,
fried.
yeah.
Yeah, not me. But so Ed made some chicken strips, and what we do is we crush the chicharrones,
Oh,
dip them in egg, wrap, and then do the chicharrones as
yeah.
part of
It's the breading.
crust. Yes.
Yes.
And then fry it in tallow.
Good.
So good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So good. So you don't have to necessarily, we've made pizza. Last night I made pancakes.
Okay.
And
pancakes. How do you do that?
Eggs and gelatin and some collagen.
Oh, they taste okay, or
It
like
tasted amazing.
really?
Yep. And Ed's made like some flatbread using cottage cheese and eggs. And so we can still get bread like stuff, but it's totally carnivore.
Wow. Well, I'm happy you found this. Was it by accident?
It really was.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So these groups that you go to, you just talk about creative ways to eat the right way, and
So
what
we
else?
have access to these doctors that have been doing it. So like one guy, he had a whole list of stuff that he had wrong with him, and he's totally healed himself. Another doctor, he got involved and became carnivore because his metabolism. So a lot of us, our metabolism has been damaged. And so he healed his metabolism, because one of the things we're always told to do is calorie deficit and increase activity.
Right.
It kills your metabolism.
Great.
Great. So that's why, like, doing that feasting thing, it'll increase your metabolism. So eating more, right? So it's not about calories in, calories out. It's more about eating what you need in order for you to work out and do the things. And so you just nourish your body. Another gal, she's part of it. She couldn't get pregnant, went carnivore and got pregnant.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I mean, there's so many women that go like the drug route, and there's another option.
Yeah. This one guy, 700 pounds, literally about ready to die, went carnivore, and it saved his life. Like, and so he's probably about 300 now. So he's lost like 400 pounds doing this. And so he's still, working on it, but he shares his journey and what he's been doing. People have cured their skin conditions. Pain goes away. Autoimmune issues, all of that kind of stuff is.
Well, what's the downside? What are the risks?
So the biggest thing that I think I've seen is that, and it has been the biggest, worry for a lot of people, is that their cholesterol could go up.
Okay.
Right. I don't worry about my cholesterol just because I've done a lot of research and your body makes it because it needs it,
Mm.
right? So your brain is made of cholesterol. And so, my dad being one of those people, he went low fat and he went on statins and then he got Parkinson's and then he got, dementia and all of that stuff because his brain was starving. It's also called type 3 diabetes, whatever, insulin resistance within the brain, but it's all a mess. Your hormones are built on your LDL. Your bad cholesterol, but your hormones are built on the backbone of that. So there's this one gal that I follow and she's just brilliant. I don't know if she's still alive or anything, but she has a ton of YouTube things. I'll have to see if I can find her information.
You remember her name?
I'd have to.
Oh, is she the one that pops up on TikTok and talks about?
She's an older
yes
gal. And she's the one I learned about Celtic salt. But she talks about cholesterol. She's like, your ideal number is between 300 and 350. So I don't worry about my cholesterol, but that would be.
Is that considered high?
In Western medicine? Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Anything above 200.
Okay.
Is considered high.
Tells you how often I go to the doctor. Oh my gosh.
We don't like them because, she's not necessarily a carnivore.
Not a carnivore. She's just kind of a health. Alternative health, maybe.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
I forget. I think I follow her too.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So that would probably be the one thing, it's been beat into our brain that cholesterol causes heart disease. It doesn't.
I also heard that
sugar and seed oils do.
One of the risks would be gout.
Yes, it can happen. I know Sean Baker, he's like, yeah, if it comes up, just take the allopurinol to get you through it. And then once your body continues flushing it out, then you should be fine.
Okay.
And they talk about some oxalates and you have to be like histamine being a big indicator for some people. I don't have any problems with it.
So now that you're superhuman,
I feel like it.
what are you working on? Has this changed your whole I feel like I can conquer the world. I have the energy. I have the focus. Now I want to tackle something that's been challenging to me.
Our biggest thing is I feel a renewed sense of purpose of really blending this new persona of health and wealth and mixing that because you can't have one without the other. And new excitement of, just pressing forward and building our business. One of the things that we want to do is make sure that we build this $1 million agency so we can leave Colorado.
Where are you going to go?
I'm going to go find a lake.
Oh, yes. I don't blame you for that.
I'm going to go find a lake. We have always talked about living on a lake. And now that the kids are out of the house, we want to go build Disneyland somewhere else. And then they can come and enjoy it and have fun. And
Lake McConaughey or?
No.
Okay. Bad word.
No. That's, so we've looked at Texas, the Hill area. That could be on the radar.
San Antonio-ish?
No, west of Austin.
Oh, what? Okay. Further north. Okay.
Yeah, further north. So we've looked at the LBJ arena or area, and which is really, pretty cool. And then, so I think in June we are gonna go to Oklahoma.
There's lakes there?
Yes, really big, massive lakes. And so
what about the Lake of the Ozarks?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yep, we want to go check that out.
That seems pretty cool.
Yep, we want to check that out. There's Table Rock that's really close.
No. Missouri.
Yeah. So we'll check out it's called Grand Lake. Yep, Lake of the Ozarks. Yep. I mean,
we had friends
Ed would be really excited if we bought a marina.
Mm.
He likes marinas. So then
He's
we
a
could,
total marina guy.
he is.
Yeah, I could just see him just helping everybody out with their boats and
Yep.
yeah. Oh,
Filling them up with gas, doing
yeah.
the
Fixing
things.
them,
Yep.
that kind of thing.
Yep.
That would be so cool. So that's on the radar. That's
Yeah. So yeah, just trying to figure out what we'd like to do. But it's gonna have a lake. I mean, it's my happy place. I like the water. It's all grounding. It's oh yeah. Yep. Just get up and go ski and then start your day. Finish your day with a ski. I mean,
it's not a bad
that
way to live.
sounds yeah.
So how do you get there?
So yeah, one, it will be figuring out where we want to go. So we got to narrow it down. We got to go see all the places and which one do we like the best, and build this $1 million agency, and then
Tell me about that. What does that look like?
growing our team and finding some more rock stars who are heart centered and want to serve. And I feel like helping people build their wealth and have security is a really noble space to do that in, and teach them to build a business. And
So how do you attract people to your team? What makes your team attractive or you attractive as
that's an interesting question, and it's something we've been trying to figure out for like 10 years or so.
it's a challenge every business owner
Yeah.
when you're looking for talent
Yeah.
you face.
Yep. And what I do know is that it's more like volunteers. People show up and then they connect with you, but then it's really their motivation, their drive, their everything that makes it all possible. You can't give anybody motivation.
I agree.
It has to be something that they want. They know how to do it, create it. They have something, they have an idea, they have that goal. That's their motivation, because you just can't motivate people.
So do you
I mean, you remember potty training kids, don't you?
yes, it's burned into my brain. Yes. We're still teaching Nathaniel, I think. It's hit or miss.
Well, and I just remember like Daylin was really easy to motivate to do that, where the boys, like I could bribe them with anything and they were like, nope.
Really?
Yeah, like, like it was crazy.
I would not have thought of that. I thought like your boys are pretty driven and motivated, and so
Yeah, I never really could. Not then anyways. I couldn't figure out how to make it their idea. It always had to be their idea.
Oh.
But,
do you
it's
think
like,
that happens with older adults too? I mean, if you're trying to find what motivates people, do you have to kind of go to that kind of,
yeah, it's
their
really
idea?
kind
They have
of
to own
like
it?
figuring out what is a burning desire. I think people are really like enamored with the idea of being their own boss and owning their own time, their schedule, their income, all of that. But then to make that transition, there has to be something underlying that they want, so that they'll go after and do the things, right?
Was that a big transition to what you did previously to what you're doing now?
So I've been a business owner for, since 2001.
A long time.
A long time. Yeah. And, I've done a lot of different things. Watched other people's kids. Don't like that. Because other people's kids.
It's tough watching your own.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I get that.
And then we had the bail bonding business. We had the marketing business. I tried a couple of at-home stuff, just, trying to do whatever we could so that I could stay home with the kids, and never really found anything. I felt like so there's a bit of a passion part of it as well that has to be there, I think, as far as like being really passionate about something that either happened to you personally that you wanted to change in the world and make and do better. But then there's this deep-seated, like, I want more.
Mm. So, when you're attracting these people, do you know if they show up in front of you, do you know what they look like?
Sometimes, um, like I can see people and I'll just tell them that, hey, you'd be amazing.
What
And
kind of characteristics stand out when you see a person like that?
a lot of times it's their energy, the way that
Mm.
they show up, how they carry themselves, and yeah, their energy. Like you can pick up on their energy and
Like, are
just
they talk like they're chatty Cathy, or they
not
just have a
necessarily.
certain like?
They have an essence around
Really?
them. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you just feel it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
like an aura?
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
an
an
aura.
aura.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I, we're in the people business and you start
Right.
to be able to read people really well. And we're also in the heart business. And so the hardest part is that you will meet someone and you can see everything that they're capable of and you fall in love with them. And then they never get to that point where they see it in themselves.
Mm.
So I always try and give them like what I see and so that they would borrow it because that's what I had to do. I had to borrow someone else's vision of me because I couldn't see it in myself.
What do you mean? Why you?
I know. Well, we all go through moments where we probably don't think very highly of ourselves. We all, where we've tried things, tried it over and over again, and fail and fail and fail, and so then you don't think you're worthy, you don't think you're capable, you don't think you have the goods, you don't know what you're good at, you don't know what your gifts and talents are. You just you're just like,
Everything's a failure.
yeah. And so, yeah, I was definitely at that spot when I started this. I knew I was supposed to do something. I just didn't know what. I didn't know what I was capable of. I didn't know what I was good at because I felt like I hadn't really been good at anything for a really long time. So, yeah, so I had to borrow my mentors, the people that I looked up to, and had to borrow their vision of me so that I could just keep showing up. I could borrow it and substitute it until I got my own confidence.
How long did that take?
Probably 6 to 8 months. And it was like doing a ton of personal development. Every time I was in my car, I was listening to good stuff. I didn't watch any of the news. I mean, I was really, really protective and had to really build that back up. And it's it's not like going to the military where they break you down and then build you back up, right?
Right.
But kind of the same way of like, how do I how do I surround myself with the right people and so that they're breathing life into me. And so
I would not have thought of that about you.
oh really?
I thought that you would be like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it my way and damn everybody else. And
Well,
I'm just going for it.
well, I am pretty stubborn like that. But um luckily, I mean, I always tell people that the only way you fail at anything is if you quit,
I believe that.
right? And sometimes life gets really, really hard and you think, well, it's going to be it's easier for me to just walk away and quit. So that's what
So
happens
you
for a
haven't
lot of
quit.
people. I didn't quit. I was close. I was close a couple of times for sure. But I also knew how to show up in public, networking and that kind of stuff. And my thing was, I'll just fake it till I make it. So
So how did you get through those tough times? Did you have a lot of support?
I had a lot of support. Yeah.
Do you have a mentor?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think that is everything when you're building a business is that you find whether it's a coach that you pay. Well, you have to be really careful about coaches. Like you have to really because you could spend a lot of money and it not be what you think it is. Because I've done that for sure. But having a mentor who has built what you want and is doing the same thing, that's what you do is you go find the person who has the life and the income and everything that you want. And you ask them, show me the way.
Do you find
And
it
then you're like, sensei.
Well, do you find it difficult to find those people?
But luckily I've been fortunate within this business. It's kind of built into that and the way that we help people do that. And so you just take advantage of it.
Yeah, because I've that's been challenging for me because I like some aspects of what they do, but I don't necessarily like some of the other aspects that they do. And I think Ed and I talked about this is I think you got to be careful because you have to take the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's baked in the cake.
Yep.
And you got to accept that whole cake. You can't take different ingredients from it. So it's been very difficult to find sort of a mentor for me.
Yeah. Well, because we're multi-dimensional humans, right? And there are 7 areas of life. So how do they show up spiritually? How do they show up in their family life, their work life, their financial life, their social life, their physical life, as far as how do they take care of themselves, all of those things. And so sometimes when you focus really hard on one space, there are definitely like, and it happened for me, right? Like I was so focused on building my career, the finances, all of that, that my health suffered. And so there's always going to be that balance in life where this is great, but this over here is sucking. And so it's how do we manage the balance part of it? And I think that's an evolution kind of thing. That
Did you feel like you did a good job with that?
no, there's definitely some spaces that when I was running really hard to build this, there was definitely some spaces that suffered, like family time, husband time, all of that, health.
Did you tell them that, hey, I'm going for this, so this might suffer a little bit?
Yeah.
And they were on board?
They were. They were all really good. I mean, they might say something different now, but I'll pay for therapy later, whatever.
No, I think owning a business is one of the hardest things that you can do, but definitely the most rewarding. Yeah, you're right.
It's not for everybody.
Right.
And that's okay. Like,
do you ever tell people that this is probably not for you?
No, I've never said that. But they kind of weed themselves out, right? They stop showing up, stop talking to you, whatever. Like, and maybe they go get what they need from us at the time, right? So sometimes things are seasonal, relationships, all that kind of stuff. And I just needed you for this season. That's all right. And we've had plenty of people who have gone on to be major successes in other spaces.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So this particular business didn't work out, but they excelled in some other area. Wow.
Yep.
That's interesting. So you're building this $1 million agency.
Yep.
Right? What kind of plan is in place? How do you get there?
So we have some group focus space where we're doing some Facebook ads and doing on a monthly basis, doing some, hey, come and check us out. What is it like to work with us? Come and experience our culture, understand that piece of it. It's a little bit different because these are all cold contacts.
Like you don't know them.
Don't know them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But just finding some people that are interested and putting it out there. But it's kind of crazy how that part right there has created energy in other places to continue to have more conversations with people who are probably more warm. And, it really is all intentional, right? So where are you spending your time and being intentional about that? So then things, they just seem to show up, which is all good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So So we're doing that. And then, just trying to, listen with an open ear all the time of people who are looking for more. They want to fire their boss. They want to do some part-time work because life is expensive and there's more month than money and that kind of stuff. And so, just looking for people who are ready to just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of what you do?
It is the agent piece of really building them and helping them and showing them and giving them confidence that they know how to make money. So when you get them to that point, then they can go run. Like they can go do different things and watching them transform as a human, because you get to see them more frequently than you do clients, and you get to see them grow and blossom into building whatever it is that they want, right? And what does that look like? And so it's a longer process. It takes anywhere from 18 to 36 months.
Wow.
So, and so then it's
That's
just
a tough stretch.
It is. Yeah, I mean, we're vested, right? We're spending time with them. We're driving places. We're putting money into them. All sorts of stuff to help them build their business. And so, it takes a while, but the long-term benefits of that are pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching them.
So you've evolved into this. Is this something you see doing long term? Like this is it?
Yeah, I don't want to learn anything else.
Okay.
I'm a little bit too vintage. That old dog, new tricks kind of thing. Just kidding.
So do you think that this business has the capacity so that as you evolve and become wiser and you can still grow within the business that you're in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And really it's just investing in other humans.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And finding those that want to show up and do the work. We have this saying, you take a step, I take a step. And so as they continue to say, yes, I'm going to keep going. All right, let's go. Do you want to go faster? Do you want to run? Do you want to skip? Do you want to walk? We can do it, whatever. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you've got the health check. You got the business check. What's left?
I would say that I think my 50s has been the most amazing because I'm just barely getting into them. Like 40s weren't bad, but 50s, like it was this like, hey, this is cool. It's kind of, you get to this space where you just don't care anymore. Right.
My
so
wife
there's
is there
that.
in her 40s. Yeah.
You don't care anymore. But this new like empty nesting, eagle soaring thought of like, now we get to travel more. So that's definitely on the bucket of like getting to do more things, experience life, do more experiences like that. Oh, this is so cool.
So was the empty nesting thing hard for you?
I was pretty sad for, I never was really sad with the other two. I was like, she's all the way up in Fort Collins. Like, it's no big deal. Right. Like, we'll just go drive if we want to.
Right.
And then when Gunnar moved out with mom, he just with mom.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. But when Brody, this is the last one, right? Like all the last, and it kind of hit a little bit. And so for the first week when we took him up there, I was kind of weepy. And which
the
is
last of the last. Yeah.
Yeah. This is it. We're not going to go through anymore. There's no more last, right?
Oh.
There's no more last homecoming, last football game, last, graduation.
Yeah. I remember you posting those last. And
yeah,
I couldn't tell if you were, if it was hitting you.
Yeah.
But it was?
Yeah. For about a week and a half. And then he's only in Greeley. So He's only in Greeley. But at the same time, you know, just managing this piece because he's pretty independent of like, hey, we're not going to bug you too much, but we'll see you at the game and we'll, all that kind of stuff. And so he's actually switched and he's become a little bit more homesick. And so now he's calling more and he's actually spending time on the phone with us.
So
Like,
are you feeling like, yes?
yeah,
Like,
it's like, well,
that
this
feels
is
good.
different. This
Uh-huh.
feels different. But I also remember when I played college sports, it's when I started having problems with the coaches that I was calling home all the time. And so he's kind of having some issues with the
Oh,
coaches.
okay.
And so now he's calling home to get, advice, have someone,
So who walks
consult.
him through that? Is that you or Ed?
I think both of us.
Yeah. Have a
But
different perspective?
Yep.
Different. Okay.
yeah. So,
I forgot you played college sports.
mhm.
Were you good?
Yeah, he's a total badass.
What'd you play?
I was a setter.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, like volleyball?
Yep. I
Okay.
played volleyball. Yep. And so I had a full ride down in Fort Lewis, down in Durango. And I could tell you so many stories.
I want to hear some.
Well, so, she's gay. The
Oh.
coach was gay. And so she was like, she really overstepped her bounds back then as far as not necessarily coming on to us. I mean, she was with a partner. That was fine. Who cares? It's a lot of that. But I remember, was it my sophomore year? I think it was my sophomore year. We're back there and we were doing some team building. So she took us up into the mountains. We had tents, whatever. We're supposed to be bonding, right? And I just remember she had this person. This is going to be so bad.
No.
Had this person who had transitioned
Oh.
right before transitioning was a thing.
Okay.
Right? You could totally tell they were female, but now trying to be a man. Right? You can't get rid of high cheekbones and you can't get rid of petite hands. Like sorry.
Yep.
Anyways, and so they were like, yeah, let's do this campfire and we want you to cry about your dad and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So
were you the only one?
I don't know how anybody else felt, but it was like at that point, I was like, I'm not sure
doesn't
what
feel good.
Doesn't feel good. It's not. I'm here for volleyball.
Right.
You're paying for my school.
Yeah.
I just want to win. I want to, all that kind of stuff. And I don't want to do
did it cause problems?
Yeah, it kind of got a little rough after that, and it kept getting worse and worse. And then I didn't play my last year, but she still had to pay for my last year. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you want to transfer?
Well, yes, but back then it was like it was a big no. You couldn't reach out to other coaches. Like now you have the portal and all that kind of stuff, and that makes it easy for you to go to different spaces. There wasn't anything like that, and it was like if I had tried to go to another, I wouldn't know if I'd have it paid for.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
I had a full
the
economics, and then
the economics piece
you
of
lose
it.
a year of eligibility,
and then you couldn't play for a year, all that kind of stuff. So it got really, really messy. So I just made her pay for my last year.
So you quit playing volleyball?
Playing volleyball.
Did you love it?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, that's gotta suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Wow. So you're like early 20s?
Well, yeah, I was like right after high school. So I think I graduated. I was a young senior. So I graduated when I think I had just turned 18 when I was going up there. So I was 17, 18 when I went to college, and then graduated in 4 years.
Do you think you could have had a different route if you went with a different school, or do you ever think about that?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you learn things, and I tried to share it with Brody as far as like, it's really important. Like for me, my biggest criteria was like, how far can I move away from my parents without being out of state? So
Durango is it. Right?
Durango is it. Right. And so I remember like Western State wanted to talk to me. And so that would have been not quite as far, but we called that one Wasted State. But then it's Fort Loser.
Oh yeah. You have all the names. Yeah.
Whatever. But
Other than that, did you like your college experience?
yeah, it was fun. I liked college way better than high school.
Really?
Oh, high school.
Did you have a car?
Yep.
You had a car, so you
Yep.
could drive around and
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
do the things. And then, did you get homesick?
No, not really. Mm-mm. No, I was one of those that like once I was done, I probably went home for a little bit after I graduated and then I was out. Like and then
Oh.
I never went back.
Yeah.
So
Did you meet Ed there, or how do you?
no, we went to the same high school.
Same high school, so you went away and came back.
Yeah. So he was a senior when I was in 8th grade.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
Yes. So
so-
that's weird.
Yeah. So
Yes.
we didn't date in high school.
Because that would be illegal.
It would have been totally illegal. But his buddy, one of his buddies,
Oh,
so
yeah.
our school was so tiny that we had one hall was senior high, the other hall was junior high, right?
Oh, wow.
So we were in one building. And so you didn't really cross over, but his buddy John Record would come over and talk to one of the gals in my school, their class,
yeah.
and they would meet in between. And yeah, so he wasn't worried about what it looked like. He didn't care about optics at that point.
Okay. All right.
I
Oh,
guess.
gosh.
But yes, yeah. So we went to the same high school, but we didn't really know of each other. I mean, everybody knew of them because their basketball team was so amazing.
Oh,
And so
really?
like
Oh,
the whole town, everybody went to the basketball games. They went to state championships and all that kind of stuff. So
wow.
So-
What high school was that?
Weld Central,
Oh, Wild Central.
yeah, the Rebels. I think they had to change their name because you know how changing names now
Oh,
makes
yeah.
everything
Yes.
world peace. So
But Wild Central, they're recovering.
yes,
They're not, I don't think they're as good as they used to
no,
be. Yes.
they really aren't, especially since I left. So just kidding.
You graduated and there goes the program. Yeah. Yeah. You ever think about coaching?
I did for a little bit.
Oh.
So I coached junior high little girl. So like, I had the kids, chronic open enroller, had the kids going to Excel Academy. And one of the things about going to a charter school is that you have to do volunteer hours. So I was like, oh, I'll coach.
Okay.
Learned a lot. It was really great.
Is your team good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won one
Oh.
year. Yeah. We won the whole thing, in junior high. That's a pretty big
it's a
deal.
Big deal. Yeah.
But and came close the last year,
Okay.
when Dalen was done. So,
Wow. Coach K.
yeah.
Coach K.
Don't roll your eyes. You're gonna have to do push-ups.
So you talked about being a patriot. What does that mean?
I love this country. It comes from my dad.
Hmm.
He really totally instilled that.
How did you do that?
He was a Marine.
So there's a good start.
Yes, but he got drafted because he was failing college. So that the draft was way back then. So he wasn't doing great in college. So he got drafted, and he was trying to pick which one he was going to do. So he looked at the Army, and then he asked the Marines. He's like, "Well, this is what they're going to do for me." So he negotiated his like time in there and all that kind of stuff. But he talks about how the Marines really broke him down, built him back up, all of that. And
Did you ever think about joining the military?
no, because I think Bill Clinton was,
Oh.
yeah.
President at the
Or
time?
was that Matt? I don't remember who was. Oh, it was Bush.
Oh,
Bush. Yeah. So no, I wanted to play volleyball. So
volleyball. No Marines for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
volleyball. Thought college was gonna, let's do it this way. And yeah, so I went that route. And I knew I didn't want to be a farmer. And so
So you kind of went away from the way you were kind of brought up.
yeah.
Was that on purpose, or you just didn't like that?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't want to work as hard as my dad did. I
Oh,
mean, I definitely learned a lot from his work ethic for sure, but I didn't want to work that hard.
mm.
And I just
Like
felt,
physically or just,
yeah, yeah.
oh,
Well, I mean, shoot, he'd be gone before I woke up. He'd be out, and then he'd come home after I went to bed. So
oh,
during the
wow.
summer, when I was growing up, if we wanted to spend time with our dad, we would go irrigating with him
Oh, gee.
in the evenings. Yep.
Wow.
So,
So this the old timer work,
yep,
work,
yep,
and wow,
yep. Yeah,
wow.
I mean, yeah, he definitely, taught us we'd have to work for him, but, you know, hoeing weeds and going up and down and
Yeah.
and then driving tractor and all of
Were you
that.
the only girl?
No,
Oh,
I think I did more farm work than Jerry did, though.
is that your older brother?
No, Jerry's my sister, so she's the
Oh,
middle
sorry.
child. So Jerry, yeah,
I'm
she's
sorry.
that's okay. She's got one of those names that could go either way. So
Okay. What's her root, like her
Jerry.
birth name, I guess? Is it short for something?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
It's spelled G-E-R?
No, Jeri. Yep.
Oh, J-E-R-I. Okay.
Yep.
I love that name.
Jerry.
Jerry.
We'll bring back. Remember, it's Pat from
right.
SNL.
Oh, gosh, yes.
When it was funny.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. Pat. So, what siblings? So just,
So I'm
You
the
two?
oldest, then it's Jerry. So she's the middle child, right? So she's totally forgotten. And then Matt, who was the prized son, right? Like
oh,
finally
yeah.
got the son, carry on the name,
Well,
all that kind of
Nathaniel,
stuff.
and that's, yeah.
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 Yeah. So the prized son. So we always tease each other back and forth, like who's the favorite.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah. I was so excited about Nathaniel. We tried to have another boy. Sorry, buddy.
Well, you know how that works, right?
I know, right? It didn't work. So I'm just cursed with girls. So, so do you get along with your brothers and sisters?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was like mandatory
Mm,
from my mom that we got along.
what do you mean? Like it was a rule?
Yeah. Like it's not that we didn't fight because we did. Because there was at one point where my brother had a pitchfork
Okay.
and I had a bucket, like the big 5-gallon bucket, like from Home
The
Depot.
tin, like yeah.
No, it's plastic.
Oh, but that's your shield?
Yep.
He was going to stab you?
He was going to stab me.
What did you do?
Well, I'm like, I've got this bucket and I'm like, and so he lunged at me and I used that bucket to protect me and it broke and it got the pitchfork stuck in it. And I just looked at it, I was like, you better run. Because I was like, you're dead.
Did he run?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did I catch him? Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, we definitely,
Just
but
pounded him?
at that same time, my mom was just like, you guys we don't fight. And back then we were always outside.
Right.
We were always outside running, jumping,
Using all
on
that
the
energy.
tram,
Yeah. Right.
playing in the, the grain bins or whatever, riding bikes. I mean, we were just outside all the time. And
Did you play with snakes and stuff?
no,
Yeah.
because they're usually rattlesnakes.
Oh.
So not a good idea.
Oh, did you run into some rattlesnakes?
Mm-hmm.
Those are freaky.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's like one of my biggest fears. That and sharks.
Yeah. Well, and we do have quite a few out there. So my sister and I were riding bikes and we were up by the railroad tracks. And we thought it would be a good idea to ride our bikes and close our eyes. Right. So we're going to go down this hill from the railroad tracks. We're going to go down and then the house is right there. So Jerry went first. And so she closed her eyes. And there happened to be a rattlesnake in the middle of the road. And she had closed her eyes, right? And she's going right for that rattlesnake and swerves.
Just
Just
no
swerves.
way. I didn't
And swerves. And so I'm like, Jerry, did you see that snake? And she's like, what snake?
It was like divine intervention.
Yep.
Wow.
It was not her time.
Wow. Did you go back and look at it?
Well, yes, a little bit, but from a
Like,
distance.
you're curious. You're
Right,
like, oh,
yeah.
dang, that's,
Yeah.
was that a rattler or was that, yeah.
No, it was.
Oh,
Yep.
got that little, ooh.
Yep. But we used to go hunting. One of the coolest things I remember when we were growing up is that
You went hunting?
For rattlesnakes
Oh.
in the fall. Yes.
Why
So
would you do this?
Because it's kind of fun. If you're an adrenaline junkie.
I guess.
So there was one fall, because it was a nice fall day and there was a whole bunch of people in another truck and it's like prairie dog central out there. So there's always snakes in them. And so we would go out there, drop one along and then go hunting. The last time I went, I was 5 months pregnant with Gunner. And it's
pregnant
a beautiful
rattlesnake
day.
hunting. Okay.
Yes. And so get out of the car or the truck and you've got your bird shot. I had a 22 and then everybody's kind of like, okay, you pick a line and you just walk and you see if you can come across the snake. So you're like, your adrenaline's up already because you're like just
Right.
waiting to find this, right? And you're looking so hard at the ground and all the ground is like, things are dead.
Right.
Like there's nothing green, everything's brown. And so are the snakes, right?
Oh, you can't see them.
Yep. Until they start, right? And so I'm trucking along and I'm looking and so I scream and then I jump back and Ed's like way over there and he's like, I can't run because I don't want to, I don't want to step on a snake. And so I scream and I jump, but because it's cooler out, they don't move fast.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yep.
So then I'm like, chill. And so then I get my gun and I'm like, I shoot and I was like, oh shit, I missed. So then I shoot again and then I'm like, I got it.
So what do you do with it?
Well, you shoot it and then you take the rattles.
You try cut them off?
Yeah, you could eat it if you want to.
Oh.
You
Is
could
that part of the carnivore diet?
No, well, you could be. I don't know where it is on the pyramid though.
Yeah, it's off the pyramid, I think. Yeah.
Tastes like chicken.
Oh. How do you eat stuff that's has venom?
Well, the venom's only in their teeth and
So
they
you just
have
cut their head off?
glands. Yeah, so you just don't eat the glands.
Oh. Do you ever skin them?
I didn't.
No.
No,
That'd be kind of cool.
we had a hired hand that worked for us and he liked to catch them and kill them. And then he had them all on our fence,
Oh,
like
yeah.
drying out or
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah, like trophies.
Yeah. And the snakes will just sit there and just, 'cause they're dead, but they're still twitching.
Oh. I've always wanted to live in the country, but I'm second guessing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, but you don't have to live by neighbors. And
I
I've
know.
also now I'm like, hey, yeah, I'd like some land, right? So people could be further away and then I could get goats,
I like goats.
right?
I like goats.
I want little ones because they're cute when they bounce, right? So
Yes.
they bounce.
Yes.
But then I want them blended with, so they're pygmy, or the tiny ones, right? And then fainting. So then you could get tiny fainting goats that you go boo and they,
No way.
yes,
Oh my gosh.
entertainment for days. Every
I'll
day,
take regular
every time
goats.
I want to laugh, I just go scare
That's
a goat
true.
and then
That's
they go
true.
and fall over. See? Yep.
Are you serious? Fainting goats.
Yes.
This can't be a thing.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Don't get hooked on it because
Oh
it's
my
all over
gosh.
TikTok and
Oh.
on Reels and all that kind of
What?
stuff where they go, you just, yeah.
What is this? Oh, are you what? And they just get back up?
Yep. I don't know how that is like, animals, they have,
Gosh, this is ridiculous.
animals have like either a fight or flight. I don't know how that helps them not get eaten.
No.
So
The wolf is like, thank you very much.
it's like,
yeah. Coyote's like, boo. Oh my God. I'll take a regular goat though. I don't want a fainting goat. No, that's just too weird.
Well, they'll still eat the grass.
Yeah.
They'll keep the grass down.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Oh man. What would you name him or her?
I don't know yet.
You don't have any names picked out?
Nope. Well, you know,
Billy?
they have funny faces, right? Like, so
Yeah,
it might be
they're very
like
unique. Yeah.
Gremlin.
Yeah. Something
Right?
like that. Yeah.
Something like that, you know. It's just because it's not.
I watched this podcast where it's this YouTuber that just goes out and records himself fishing, and then he comes back to his farm and he has goats, and he named them after fishing things like Bobber. Isn't that cool? Yeah, like Bobber, and there's something else that's fish related, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what we used to do because 4-H, we did 4-H, and we would raise steers, fatten them up, show them, all that kind of stuff. And we would name them lunch.
Oh, come on.
Dinner.
Definitely relative to the carnivore diet.
Yep.
Yes.
McDonald's, Burger King, T-Bone.
Poor things.
I know.
Oh.
I know. I never understood how all these other kids, you know, we do the auction and, you know, you're selling your animal, whether it's a goat, a sheep, pig, steer, whatever. And, you know, then they come and get them on Sunday to take them to the slaughter. And these kids would be like, I'm so sad. And I'm like, I'm going to get a check.
And probably a pretty big one. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And that means I don't have to beat it.
Oh,
I don't
right.
have to wash it. I don't have to brush it. I don't have to walk it. I don't have to do.
It's like, adios.
My job is done.
Yep. Give me my money.
Money, money, money.
So you got this, a patriot. We're going back to the patriot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
Did you raise your kids that way? Are they pretty big patriots?
I don't know.
Because that's difficult.
Yeah.
I don't think I became very patriotic until recently.
And I think the last 4 years we've had to really stand firm in some of our beliefs, and more so than we ever have, right? And really being challenged with that piece of it, of learning to stand up for what we value the most, whatever those values are, right? And they can change all the time.
Yep.
But I really do feel like the last 4 years, 5 years have been that challenge of what are you willing to stand up for and what's important to you?
Very polarizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never thought we'd have to do that. It was never a big thing before that, but it's definitely, it's a thing. It's a thing now. And, but at the same time, I think it's really, made people feel like they had to, find something that they believed in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's good.
Yeah.
Even if it's different, right? Like everybody has, and that's what makes.
Like, where do you stand?
Yeah.
Where do you stand?
Oh, where do I stand?
No, I'm just saying, like, you asking yourself that question of, I think I know where you stand. But asking the question of like, what are my beliefs?
Yeah.
What are my values?
What's important to me?
Yeah, what's important to me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really easy to go through life and just get up and do the thing, right? Like get up and da-da-da-da-da. And I go through life and I go to work and I eat lunch and then I come home and I make dinner and I go to bed and I do the same thing, right? So that can get really monotonous. But now, now you get to find something to feel passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also it's interesting to be in a space to, you know, see people and hear them and let them be heard as well, so that you may not see eye to eye, but that's what makes the world great.
Mm-hmm.
Is that everybody has a different lens,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak.
Experience too.
Yeah, a
maybe?
different experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's right or wrong, um, but sometimes it can feel like it.
Yeah. So that's definitely shaped you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, and you're in the same space, right? Like you think about, our kids, what are they going to grow up with? Our grandkids, what are they going to be able to do and not do and experience, and what do we want them to have access to?
Yeah.
And so I think everybody's thinking about that generationally and what's that going to look like.
Mm.
And so
Wow. So you would you say you're a spiritual person or
yeah.
religious person, or does that come into play?
Um yes. I I'm just now like really kind of tiptoeing into that realm of being more vocal about it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yep.
Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah. Who knows?
Where did that come from? You talked about letting go and letting things happen, letting God take care of things. So is that more of it?
Yeah. Well, and he absolutely calls us to do that, right? And I think the more we can shine light and be of love and that, then we can show what God true, who he really is.
Mm.
And so, whether that's, in showing light in different things, we give permission for other people to do the same thing.
Mm. Do you feel
But religion can be pretty polarizing, right?
that is true?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's one of those big no-nos. So I'm like going after, right? Let's go after all the things that are super polarizing. Let's talk about money. Okay. Super polarizing, totally taboo. Let's do that. Okay, cool. Let's go after the food pyramid because that's in health and that's super polarizing because we love RFK, right? Oh, don't want everybody to be healthy. And then let's talk about religion. Oh, also polarizing. So I'm just that person here to disrupt.
Yeah. Do you feel like that is a turnoff?
It could be for some people, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because there's, I've definitely come across some people who are big, like no-nos, don't believe in it, don't, yep,
Let's not talk about it.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's
But do you try to like encourage people to talk about it, or is it you're like, I'll say something, and then if you don't respond, then I'm like,
yeah.
pretty cool. Okay.
Yep, I will.
I know.
I will test the waters
You
in
will?
different
Okay.
places. Yes.
Oh.
Yep, I will test waters and just kind of see where people are at. And I'm definitely craving those spaces of hanging out with people who um, are more Christ driven.
Okay.
Because I feel like I need it, and I don't necessarily believe that I'm going to get it at church, which is really weird.
Interesting. You say that.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that. Why? Tell me more.
So, well, most religions man-made, right? Like all of that, it's driven by man. And then when you look at the church structure, it's pretty corporate.
Could be. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it happened during COVID when they bought into the mask wearing and da 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 and stay at home and don't and when we needed the community the most. And that was a real turnoff for me because I'm like, aren't we all supposed to be like, hey, I can't wait to go home?
Mm. Not afraid of death.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so that was really challenging for me. And I really walked away from that piece. And because I was like, we're not supposed to be afraid because we all know where we're going. or at
Put
least
it
we're
in God's
supposed
hands,
to.
right?
Yeah.
Put it in God's hands and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, um, yeah,
I mean,
haven't.
there could have been an argument to be like, all right, well, if I'm sick, I need to be prudent in that I should try to take care of myself to prevent that, or be prudent in not getting anybody else sick. So there's an argument for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you can just stay home.
Or just stay home. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, to not be able to go to God's house and show up the way that we thought was most authentic to us and to Him, and to realize that He built us very perfectly and that our bodies are meant for healing, that if we didn't want to wear a mask, we shouldn't have to wear a mask. If we, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was a big thing for me.
You felt like you were let down?
Yeah. Yep. That they were like really bought into whatever the state said, because, the health department, like, because it was all driven based on lies. I mean, masks don't do anything. So this is going to be super polarizing on your podcast, by the way.
We're just having a conversation. I think a lot of stuff is coming out now about this. And there'll be a lot to talk about in the coming years. It's like you got vaccines coming out saying maybe not so good, masking, things like that. So yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, for me, it was a total turnoff.
So what do you do?
So, I think now I'm just coming back to, right? Like I had this like.
Did something happen?
No, I always get these nudges. So I'll get nudges of like, whether, it's God whispering to me or whatever, like, hey, I'm pressing, and this has been put on your heart. You need to do this. And so this is what happened in September or October. Like God's like, hey, you need to surrender your business to me. And I'm like, okay, you going to tell me how?
What was that process like?
Yeah.
The nudge?
Just surrendering it.
Well, so I don't know. Yeah, I do talk to him. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if I've fully done it. So I always question whether I've done it right.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I question whether I have fully released control.
Like 100%
and it's
faith.
That's hard, right? Like that full, like when you say the word surrender.
Yeah.
Because it's like.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's surrendering, but also still being somewhat not in control, but you still have to be active.
Yeah. You still have to do the activity.
Yeah. I think I saw an old article. I was showing a house, and this house was built in like the 1950s. And there was an article left from the previous owner. I think it was an estate or something. And they had this picture of this guy holding a shovel. And it said, God, why haven't you dug the hole? I'm waiting for you to dig the hole. And it says, well, I gave you the shovel.
Yeah.
So we still have to participate.
Yes. Yep.
And that's hard. It's like, all right, I want to participate, but yet I want to leave it in your hands. It's like, how do you dance with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's.
And being okay if what you want is not what he wants.
Well, so I heard this one time, and tell me what you think, that God does not give you dreams that He does not think, like He places them on your heart, these dreams. And so when I heard that, I was like you wouldn't have them if He hadn't given them to you. That's an interesting thing to think about, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Like he wants you to have dreams because he put them there.
He wants you to prosper for sure, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I look at him and I study Christ, and he's probably my only mentor at this point. But at the same time, he was poor. So I struggle with, all right, do I try to go make millions?
But were they? I don't know that they necessarily were.
Tell me what you mean by that.
So it's my understanding that even the disciples were wealthy, and that's how they were able to give back the way that they did. So so I don't know. Like God always tells us to take care of the poor.
Yeah.
But in order for us to do that, we need to have the resources in order to do that, right? And so I don't know that they were necessarily poor. They didn't have like wealthy things or assets, but I think they had the means to do what they needed to do in order to serve the poor and take care of them and preach the gospel, right?
Hmm. It's interesting because I also you read in scripture and things that, even if you only have $1 and you give all you got, that means more than somebody that has maybe millions that give $1,000, So yeah, it's something I need to study more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, buddy's like he's like he's got something burning.
He's got words.
Yeah.
He's got words.
What?
It's just like if it's okay. Our practice is like give 10% of what you have.
It's
Right.
just a guideline, yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's tithe.
That's what a lot of people say. What do you want to give more each time? So don't you want to make more so you can give more?
Yeah, but I do think there's some danger in having a lot of money. I think there's a lot of evidence that shows when you get to sort of an elite status, there's danger in that. And then it's the whole money is the root of all evil. I don't necessarily
It's the love of money.
Love of money.
It's the love of money that is the root of all evil. So I think a lot of people misconstrue that is that, and there are definitely, right, some really telltale signs of individuals that have let money corrupt their lives and their moral compass and all of that. But I wouldn't say that's true of everyone. And I think that's part of this space of wanting to make more for the right reasons, and to kind of create more of that snowball effect of making the world.
Do you think it puts you in danger having a lot of money and the love of money? Because when you have a lot of it, I've never experienced this. There's a lot of evidence if you look at celebrities, movie stars, athletes, that it changes them. It's very rare, and I can't come up with somebody where I've met this person, they've had a lot of money, and it hasn't affected them.
Tim Tebow. I feel like he has been so faithful and so like in the word that, and he continues to, show his passion for, not only God, but the things that he does, that he has been completely and totally blessed. Right? Like he would be a really good example of someone who didn't let the fame and the fortune and all of that stray him. But he was also a man of character.
Yep. Interesting. Yeah, Tim Tebow's net worth is what? Oh, not publicly available. Yeah, it's probably pretty high, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a great example. Yeah. One.
Good job.
So,
okay, if you had a lot of money, would that change you?
I don't know.
I don't think it would, because you're a man of character.
But I'm not. But I'm human and I'm imperfect.
Right.
So, it could. I think there is risk. And I think you'd have to have a healthy respect for that.
There's no doubt that when you lose respect for money, that could definitely come in,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. How many people, because you deal with this, right? You deal with death, right? Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You're in the business of that. How many people give it away?
Because I've had a total of 5 or 6 claims. And so our first death claim, we delivered a check for over $1 million.
Mm.
And that was, which was good that we switched them because they only had 500,000 on. So I'm like,
Doubled.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're completely underinsured. But he was the primary breadwinner. And I don't think she was really necessarily working. I think she was homeschooling and that kind of stuff. They had like 4 kids.
Okay, so that's
And
yeah.
so like that was, I don't think they necessarily gave, I'm sure they gave some of it, to the church cuz they're faith-based, but they're going to need that whole million.
That's tough.
Right?
Yeah.
Cuz the kids are still
Probably not a fair question for you.
Yeah. But I will say that probably more often than not is that death and money make people crazy, and like a lot of strife ekes in because they got to get theirs, right?
Well, those are the worst transactions that we have to deal with as estates.
Yeah.
And siblings and family members, and that's more evidence of when you put money in there, it changes people, because I hear it all the time. I never thought my brother or sister would act this way.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, it changed them.
Yep.
And
do you think it changed them or exposed them?
Ooh, do I think it changed them or exposed them?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. Probably more exposed.
It's
got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, because anybody who comes out and they're like, meh, like they had some back financial stress and now they're like, I need it now.
Mm-hmm.
This is my way to solve it, fix it, which it ultimately doesn't. It will temporarily for sure, but if they don't figure out why they got there in the first place, then they'll get back there.
I wonder if this might be a question for you, buddy. Would you be upset if I died right now and with my policy, right, with you guys, and I decided to give it all away? How would you feel about that? To not you.
If you stood like for it, like it was to, I don't know, the church or something, I wouldn't have a problem.
Okay. Interesting.
Because I know who's gonna have a better impact with it. It goes back to your character. Like, we don't question your character. Look at this picture.
Yeah, that picture is an amazing picture. Yeah. I'll talk about that on maybe a podcast or something. But yeah, Tiana got, for my birthday, she asked people around me to give them one word that described me, and they put one word up there, and she framed it. It was awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So one of my favorite pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't have the answers. I just keep praying, and prayer has been a lot more frequent in my life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then surrendering and cooperating and all those things, it's very difficult, but it's getting easier. The older I get, the easier it gets for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that you show up a little bit better than you did the day before.
I know it's so hard though. I
Yeah,
mean, how do you measure
sometimes.
that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you can.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just a gut feeling. It's like, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it comes down to, well, whether you're looking at that picture and doing a check-in or a mirror or whatever and just be like, hey, can I look at myself and say I did a good job today?
Do you have a measurement? I mean, that was a very um, eye-opening measurement.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something like that? Like, do you know where people stand with you?
No, or what they think about me?
Yeah, what they think.
Yeah, that's a tough one because sometimes I don't think I want to know the answer.
Really? Why? You think you'd be disappointed?
I don't know. I think, I mean, because there's definitely, we are all the things, right? Like we're good and we can also be pretty naughty, right? Like we are completely balanced as a human and we have all the traits. And definitely depending on who you talk to, they would probably be like, yeah, you embody this trait and it starts with a B. Whatever. But it's one of those things of like if you really wanted to do like the self-reflection piece would be to have someone tell you real honestly of like, hey, you're this, but you're also this. Because we're both, right? We're not all super amazing. Hey, I'm gonna put you on this pedestal kind of thing, but we are balanced.
Mm.
We are balanced. We
So
are the altruist and the narcissist. We are all of it.
if you had one word to describe yourself, what would you say?
The first word is probably driven. But I also think I'm fun. I'm pretty funny. Like I laugh at all of my jokes. So
Does anybody else? That's the question.
if I feed them enough alcohol, no, I'm just kidding.
What would your kids say? What do you think your kids would say about mom?
That I think Daylin she would probably say that I'm really strong.
Strong as in like strong-willed or physically strong or
Not physically strong, but just strong of character. Like I handle bad situations pretty well. Like strong in that regard of like, hey, I'm going to take care of this kind of thing.
Okay.
So
what would your boys say?
Brody would say that I'm his Venmo buddy. So mom, send me the money.
Okay.
He sees, no, I'm just kidding. But, and then Gunner, what would Gunner say?
I'd be interested to hear what Gunner would say. Like,
No.
what do you think about your mom?
Yeah. I don't know what he would say.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he a hard read?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just like you think he's going to do something and then he does something else, or you're like, he's a little unpredictable or
not him. I don't think he's unpredictable, but yeah, I don't know what he would think about, what he would say about me.
Is he more like you or more like Ed?
He definitely has my hair.
That's true. Yeah.
He's got
do you have to straighten it?
Yes.
Oh, you're like you're really curly?
Yeah, not like him.
Oh.
I don't have afro hair like him, but
okay.
he's built like a duck.
Curly. Yeah.
It just bounces.
Yeah.
But he's just an old soul.
He is an old soul.
And his moral compass has always been strong. He's always taken care of the underdog. He's always known the right thing to do at all times, and hard worker. But he's also really driven, like in goal oriented. So yeah, he's my kid.
Is he like the protector? Like, does he protect his sister and brother? And
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do they go to him for advice? Do you know?
Yes, I think they all chat and support each other because we also had a rule in our house that you had to get along.
Whether they liked it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think like weekends out at the lake, when there's no electronics, there's no anything, da 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 da.
No signal.
You're playing in
Right.
the dirt, you're playing in the
Right.
water, you're being creative, you're catching frogs and making frog towns and whatever.
All the innocent stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just learning how to do things together, whatever that was. Like, hey, let's build something. Let's, and then you learn how to work together, and then, they did a lot of like what's that? King of the Hill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
where you're pushing people
Yep,
off,
yep.
and so they did that like either on the tube or the paddle board, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, and just being kids,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's what I think I could just see you guys moving to a lake and having them there and just acting like kids and
Yep,
yeah,
and just
it's
running
pretty cool.
around and catching. I mean, I don't know if catching bugs is like fun or whatever. I think that's pretty gross, but sometimes kids like to do that.
Snakes, all the
Snakes,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Jeez.
But just being in the ground, in the dirt, and
It's
yeah,
good for the soul.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately our kids were not able to do that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we didn't let you run around and be in the streets and there weren't a lot of kids in our neighborhood. So it was like, yeah, family came around, then you could do it and act stupid. But yeah, I don't think there was
I
enough.
think that was a Gen X thing. That's a big thing, right? Like Gen X, we didn't care. We just played in the streets.
Yeah.
Yelled car.
Yeah. Well, it was pre-cell phone, I had a pager.
No pictures of anything.
Oh,
so,
right. No cameras on the
right?
phones. Yeah.
Yep. No
Yeah.
pictures of anything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You'll never know what we did.
No evidence whatsoever.
No evidence. No blackmail.
Just eyewitnesses. That's it.
Until we bury him.
That's true. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, cool.
Do you have any regrets?
Do I have any regrets? I'm sure I do. What would be the first thing that comes up? That's a good question. Maybe it's this space of not taking more chances. Of like when we were younger and Ed and I were getting together and we had like aspirations of like doing more real estate, getting rentals, doing, all that kind of stuff. And personally, I was just so afraid because I didn't know enough about it. I mean, yes, we had bought our own personal home,
Mm-hmm.
but like that taking a chance, right? And
being able to recover from it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and not being afraid of the failure, right? Because for some reason that we get taught or think that failure is such a bad word that we won't take chances. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing, is that to just take a chance, or to know how to go find the mentor to show you how to do that, or whatever. But maybe to take more chances.
So have you used that regret and worked on that now in your older life? Do you feel like you can't take risks?
No, I think it's about,
You missed your window?
no, I don't know that we've necessarily missed our window, but I think, just making sure that we're fully prepared, because we just don't have as much time to make up if we do fail. if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When you get a little bit more vintage.
But I mean, you hear about, Colonel Sanders starting at like, I don't know, 45 or something like that. When did he
I mean,
start?
he
buddy?
was, yeah,
he was old,
Yeah.
Um, Gary Vee talks about that. He says, it's never too late.
Yeah.
Just go build something. So yeah, I think, what was he? Age 40. Yeah. So there's still time.
There's still time.
Like, what could you do with the next 20 years?
Yeah. I mean, a lot can happen in the next,
10 years.
Yes.
Next 10 years.
5.
Yeah.
Like, things can drastically change.
Yeah.
In a really big way. And
well, I'm excited to see what you guys build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like we're just kind of getting started, even though we're like 11 years into this.
Right.
Really just getting started and building some momentum and
there will be challenges.
always.
So,
but they're there to make you grow.
There's another podcaster that talks about his biggest regret is not documenting the failures.
Yeah.
I would love for you to document this next, I hate the word journey because I think it's overused.
Right. There's always
executing this plan of yours, documenting that so that maybe there's, in 10 years, you can show somebody, say, hey, I could cut this to 5 years. I can cut this to 3 years if you just avoid these things.
Yep.
So, yeah, that'd be kind of cool to watch.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thanks for being on.
Thanks. Did I beat Ed? Am I 2 hours and 18 minutes? Oh, damn.
No, just short. Yeah.
He
nailed it. Ed, you win.